Right, so welcome back, everyone. We are about to hear our final submissions for today. Councillors, thank you for your time today as we've worked through a large number of submissions and also managed a number of submitters not being with us today, so juggled interesting timings. We are going to start back with Gary Hall. Gary, if you'd like to join us at the table. Gary is submission number 3441, the email submissions page 4279, speaking number 91. Gary, you have 5 minutes to speak to us today. Take your written submission as read and feel free to use your time to expand on the details that you've previously shared. Amy will give you a wave at 4 minutes to let you know that your time is coming to an end. If possible, speak to us for about 4 minutes so that we have time for clarification and questions at the end. However, your time is to use as you see fit.
Just a question, did actually something come through from me other than saying I wanted to speak?
You
No.
No, good, that's fine, because what I'm saying is
Something to nothing.
because I'll just read this out. Good afternoon, my name is Gary Hall. I'm a resident of Greytown. My family owns a batch in Kiri Bay, which is just before the Cape Palliser Lighthouse. I've been visiting this area since the early 1960s. As a person who loves to walk through this beautiful area, I can categorically state that I do not support the Paper Road Access Bylaw 2025. I'll begin by expressing my concern about how this process has been carried out. What we are experiencing at the moment should be the beginning of the process, but it appears to be far more than that. After reading the submission form that you produced, I was left wondering how many of this council had actually been on the paper road in recent times, as the information in your form contains omissions and inaccuracies. The paper road was roadworthy in the past, but it certainly isn't these days. A major reason is because there's been no maintenance done on it at all. The other significant reason is because of what has happened to the two wet areas between the lighthouse and the Te Roro stream. That's the first one round. Both the wet area adjacent to the lighthouse car park and the wet area in front of the Matakitaki Homestead chimney had been damaged by off-road vehicles. They've driven round and round in front of the chimney. I've seen the damage myself. In fact, the drainage of the latter area has been significantly damaged by these people. So much so that as a pedestrian, I'm often forced to go down to the shoreline to bypass what has become a very wet and muddy area. So, to avoid getting stuck in either of these two wet areas, vehicles have been driven inland from the paper road. The cumulative results of this are what you see there today. The second most significant source of damage to the area is livestock. The council has not even acknowledged their role in the submission form information. I frequently see sheep and cattle grazing in the damaged area. Obviously, the owner of the stream is grazing the area with the approval of the landowners. When you consider that the mass of some of these cattle can be well in excess of 500 kg, they're certainly going to damage the soil structure, especially if the ground is wet. Cattle contribute to waterlogging and ponding in this area. In addition to this, what chance is there of new trees and shrubs getting established in this area? Cattle in particular don't just eat pasture. Young trees and shrubs are very palatable to them. They do a damn sight more damage to this area than pedestrians like myself. The reaction the council has received to their bylaw proposal is a reflection of the popularity of the area. A large number of interest groups dislike your proposal to deny them access as they have little, if any, impact on this environment, and they see that you're trying to take the easy way out. So, what is the solution? Certainly not locking the gate by the lighthouse car park. This will be like a festering sore and destroy a lot of the goodwill that currently exists in finding a meaningful and long-term solution to the problem. If the gate is locked, I have no doubt that the entitled people that are out there will certainly force their way through, just thus creating further problems. I've already mentioned the consequences of livestock grazing on the block. If the landowners are sincere and genuine about their wish for the affected area to recover, they need to walk the talk and cease leasing out the area for grazing. Obviously, the area in question needs to be fenced off. This is the best long-term solution. If it's not fenced off, the desired recovery process will be a waste of time, as it will still be able to be driven over. There is already an existing example on the block of how successful fencing can be. I'm talking about the site enclosing the karaka trees located inland from the Matakitaki homestead site. Yes, fencing will come at a cost. By my research, it's $30 on average per metre for a 7-wire fence. This includes materials and labour. It's approximately 1,000 metres to the Te Roro stream from a lighthouse gate, so it would cost somewhere near $30,000. We should be capitalising on the goodwill that's out there to try to raise this money. Then there's the issue of the paper road. I find it ironic that the council's proposal that this is only going to remain accessible to landowners and government agencies. How can they use it when it's not roadworthy at present? Does this mean that you're going to repair it, or are users going to continue to drive over the land that the owners want to recover and restore? It's all very confusing. Obviously, the paper road has to be maintained if the aim is to get people to use it. The wet areas need fixing, and as a section of it has been invaded by big seas in the past few years, some remedial work will be needed there as well. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak about this issue.
Thank you very much, Gary. And as has been the case with several of our submitters today, your timing is impeccable. You finished right on 5 minutes, which means there is no time for questions. But we do very much appreciate your verbal submission and has certainly given context to your thoughts around this matter. So thank you very much.
Thanks for coming, Gary. Thank you.
And councillors, we're now moving to submission 1115. Patrick Morgan is online packet 3, page 1129, or submission 98 in the speakers tab. Welcome, Patrick. Thank you for being with us today. I've mentioned earlier in the day that the reason I have my back to you is because the microphones are in front of me. So please don't think that I'm being rude or disrespectful to you. You have 5 minutes to speak to us today. How you use that time is up to you, but we do encourage you speaking for about 4 minutes, which Amy will note with a wave, just to allow any time at the end for questions of clarification. And your time with us today starts when you are ready.
Great, thank you. Can someone give me a thumbs up if you can hear me?
Oh,
Awesome, thank you. Firstly, thanks for your attention to this important matter. About Cycling Action Network, we're a national network of advocacy for people who ride bikes. So that's around 1 million people in New Zealand throughout the whole country. I've got 3 points to make here, and then I'd like to listen to any questions. Firstly, this is a popular and significant place for people on bikes to recreate. Secondly, we absolutely agree that damage to the trail and nearby sites is not okay. Thirdly, we're submitting to you that the response to this issue needs to be proportionate and measured. So firstly, Cape Palliser, what a wonderful place. It's a significant draw card for people travelling on bike and on foot, as you've heard. We're not just talking about a few kilometres, it's an essential link. It represents connectivity between Cape Palliser and around towards Tora and White Rock. Indeed, there's a popular bike ride, I guess starting in Martinborough, one day down to Ngawi, around the Cape, back through to Turamuri to Martinborough. I mention this because bicycle tourism it's good for regions. The government estimates it's $950 million worth of economic benefits. That includes accommodation, food, guides and shuttles. And I think South Wairarapa is well positioned to capitalise on that, to indicate that you're welcoming people on bicycles to the region. So it's an important area for us. We agree, sites of significance to iwi and surrounding landowners, they must be protected. And it's really important that the response is proportionate to this. So I also note that I've heard from others that the current approach may be subject to legal challenge. So we're suggesting that your next move is to do a more detailed study of the issue and to come up with a broader range of solutions that are going to meet everyone's needs. I'm aware there's a professional trail design community within New Zealand that's highly regarded, and I'm sure they would be happy to input on how to protect what needs protection, but also providing access to people on bike and foot. Thank you for your attention. Any questions?
Thank you very much, Patrick. Any questions from the councillors? I would just like to ask one question of clarification from you, Patrick. You have talked obviously in favour of access for cyclists and I presume walkers. Does the Cycling Action Network Inc. have a view on motorised vehicle access to the area?
I'm representing people who travel by bicycle, so I wouldn't hazard a view on that, except to say that the response should be proportionate to what we're trying to achieve here.
Perfect. No, thank you for that clarification. Any further questions? No, thank you for your very clear, verbal presentation today. I think it's clear to setting out how many points you're going to make things clear for us. So I thank you for that. Your verbal and written submission will both be taken into account as we work through to deliberations.
Kia ora, we'll be watching for progress on this and really happy to help when we can. Thank you for your attention.
Oh, thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Patrick. Sorry, sir, how can I help?
Excuse me, sorry, I mean, answering. There's no way.
Sorry, could you introduce yourself, sir?
My name is Ross Ford.
Are
I live on the coast.
you down to speak to us? Did you submit to make a submission to the paper submission? Unfortunately, because you haven't made a submission, we are unable to hear your verbal submission today. So we are.
I'm here.
You are here, but today is for those who have submitted through the formal process and requested to speak, because this is a formal process.
I just wanted to say you can't ride the bush bike along there either. It's just a complete mess. Thank you.
Very much. Right, so that brings us to the end of our hearings for today. We have heard, as I've mentioned, we've heard a number of verbal submissions. And we thank both our submitters and those who came to listen for their time. A reminder that our hearings will continue tomorrow. They will continue from 9 AM at the Greytown Town Hall tomorrow. So those of you who wish to hear submissions, or if you're watching online and you're submitting tomorrow, please be aware that that is in Greytown, councillors too. And we will, at the conclusion of hearings tomorrow, we can discuss the hearings report. That is a sort of a summary of all that has been announced and things that we've heard. And from there, we move through to deliberations. So I invite you please to stand and join me in closing the hearing.
Kia mai mātou katoa, o mātou hoa, o mātou whānau, ai o ki te aorangi.
So that in English is our work is finished for the time being. Protect us all, our friends, our family, peace to others. Thank you, everyone, and we look forward to seeing many of you again tomorrow.
Oh, whatever you want.